Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and indeed, welcome back to TGC's World Cup Morning Glory. Another game overnight that has it all. Kohli milking the game again to try and reach Sachin. Glenn Phillips taking a catch when he's on 95, then apologising to the crowd. Fog descending on the ground like it was a 1980s teen horror flick. Mo Shami comes off the bench and he takes a fifer and gives a massive fuck you to the selectors, I suppose. Daryl Mitchell scores 130 in a losing side. Pezza affording him the opportunity to say, hey, where were the rest of you? India shelling more catches than I've been throat lozenges, but in the end, death, taxes, a kebab at the end of a night out, and King Kohli scoring nearly 100 in a successful run chase. If you are new to TGC and you're enjoying our World Cup coverage so far, why not click subscribe on the channel? We're about 3,000 or so away from 250,000 subscribers here. We're about halfway through the tournament, Pezza. The table is changing every day. It's a roller coaster. We're making binary calls every single day. This is what's going to happen now because this thing happened last night. So hit that subscribe button and join us here in TGC. The Grey Cricketer is brought to you by Cricket.com. You can download the Cricket.com app from the App Store. You can also subscribe to Cricket.com's YouTube channel. They've been supporting TGC throughout the World Cup and beforehand during the Asia Cup and the World Test Championship final there. So thank you very much to Cricket.com. Pezza, India win again. Are they going to win forever?
Well, yeah, obviously. Do you mean in the cricket field or economically? Or
economically, I was talking.
Well, I think there's more chance of that.
Okay,
to be honest,
yeah.
Which is to their credit. They've organised the population. A lot of manoeuvres around the globe are turning their way. A lot of countries pivoting away from China.
Sure.
Good
luck to them.
Yeah, absolutely. For India, it's cash in after tea. or in this case, COVID. So
cash in after fog in this game.
Exactly. A different kind of challenge for India overnight. This was the closest another team had run them. The way I saw it, New Zealand brought a lot of what New Zealand can bring. It was a very New Zealand game. It still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. You got hundreds. You got Rachin Ravindra, and I don't know if you knew this, he goes, but his first name is an amalgam of the Melbourne restaurant Chin Chin and the Egyptian sun god Ra.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Rachel of Friends and Indira Naidu from SBS. I think he's an amalgam of someone. I don't know. I hadn't heard it. I don't know.
Literally hear the keyboards with Dorito crumbs on the bell. That's not right.
No, it is. He was in it. I don't know. Rachin. I heard something about it being amalgam of something. Okay. I don't know.
Amalgam Marshall.
It sounds like an Indian name.
No, okay.
Amalgam Marshall.
No, we're both from New Zealand. Let's talk about the first of the three things we're getting into today, Pezza. Shami bags 5 for 54 off 10. Bit of a change in the lineup for India in this game. Obviously, Hardik Pandya unavailable. So Shami comes in, and that means that he's also batting 8. Jadeja finally gets a stick in the tournament. Welcome to Jadeja. But Shami gets 5 for 54 off 10 overs. He gets the wickets of Young, Ravindra and Mitchell, Santner and Henry, the last two in consecutive balls with some clinical death bowling. In fact, the death bowling in itself was indeed a clinic. A clinic of seam presentation, discipline, Yorkers, off speed, just perfect. Daryl Mitchell ends up scoring a wonderful 100. He scored 100 off 100 balls, then 130 off 127. But with Shami's skill, his next 30 after he got 100 was off 27 balls. Such was the clinicalness of the death bowling from Shami. But his record's pretty good in ODI cricket, Mo Shami. Pretty good guy.
He's one of their greats.
He's one of the greatest ever to play ODI cricket. Not good enough for the starting, for the sort of fixture 11.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I think I really love watching Mo Shami bowl for the reasons you say. It's that nobody presents the seam better. It's a tease horse once again, just being presented down the line. It's a red carpet. It's straight lines. It's the curve of the ball with the straight lines offered there. The ball. I mean, he walks into the team. Takes a pulse straight up, just off the seam there. I still thought it was I thought he jagged 5.
Yeah.
I thought he jagged 5 rather than kind of pouched 5.
Well, he took these last 3 wickets from his last 9 balls. Is that right? 12 balls.
Yeah,
so it was. Let me know.
Yeah, but fair play to him. I don't think he's in the starting lineup at the moment. But yeah, because it underscores the quality of the team at the moment.
Well, also India couldn't catch yesterday, so I mean they were very far from perfect yesterday, India, but they still had enough to get it done. But Mo Shami's 5 is sort of the highlight, especially coming off the bench. I keep saying bench, but do you want me to give you some stats here?
I think so. What time is it? Yeah, I'm ready. No, so it's later in the day. I'm ready.
People know what's coming.
Yep.
It's time for cricket.com's stat dog.
Who's the good little boy?
Pirate Kohli the GOAT, man.
Cricket.com stat dog.
Who's the good little boy?
And that's what you're going to get here at The Great Cricketer, that kind of gear, you know. Now, a lot of people, we see the analytics, about half the people who watch these videos aren't subscribed. So if you are new, that's the kind of gear you're going to get here. And we're talking about stat dogs, so just a dog who loves giving stats.
Of course.
So I'm talking about Mo Shami today. So we're looking at World Cup 5-wicket hauls. Mo Shami is the only Indian with multiple fifers. Mitchell Starc leads with 3. McGrath has 2. Shami 2. The Fizz from Bangladesh has 2. Shaheen 2. Shahid Afridi, also from Pakistan, 2.
So who doesn't?
In World Cups, Mohammad Shami has 36 wickets at an average of 15 and a bowling strike rate of 17.6. So among bowlers that have picked up 20-plus wickets in World Cups, no bowler has a better average or strike rate than Mo Shami.
Okay. How many World Cups has he played in? He would have played in Australia then, 2015. He wasn't around 2011. So.
No. So he played 15, 19.
Yeah. So he got one in England, to be fair, which is where he likes to do a lot of business.
Yes.
He does a lot of business
but
in
Test
England.
match cricket, like he just beats the batter. Like he's
Maybe that helps
taking,
in ODI cricket because guys have to actually hit the thing.
Yeah, they've actually got to hit it, so they actually nick it this time because they're actually trying to hit it. Anyway, I suppose it's just remarkable, those kind of numbers anyway, and the fact that he's probably not in their 11 because of the makeup of the side. And
that's a big thing coming out of this game as well. Yeah. Just sort of a couple of little rays of light for other teams there with the absence of Hardik Pandya. What do? You're robbing Peter to pay Paul, basically, with this Indian side.
Well, that's an allegation.
Yeah, well.
So we should talk about Daryl Mitchell here from New Zealand. 130 off 127. That's his 5th ODI central for Daryl Mitchell. He averages 51 in ODIs, 500s, 450s.
He's a hell of a player,
34 games. So he strikes him at 95 as well, probably slightly unders than what he might want to be, but averaging 51, hitting at 95 in the middle order, pretty bloody good going. He had a very, very clear plan against Kuldeep. So Mitchell, like just generally speaking, he debuted in Test cricket and in T20 crickets in 2019. ODI debut came 2 years after that, which I think probably just more speaks to ODI cricket generally. Like he would have been in their best white ball program, generally speaking. So he's only debuted in ODIs in 2021. He had a very clear plan against Kuldeep. Came down the wicket a number of times and bombed him back over his head.
Moosed him.
Kuldeep's first 5 overs went for 48. To be fair to Kuldeep, he then came back with 2 for 25 off his next 5 overs. So he finished with 2 for 73. But that was the first time we've seen a clear plan against India's bowlers where they were like, we're going to target Kuldeep in this instance. They had a great, Mitchell and Ravindra had a great partnership. Ravindra made 75 as well. The two put on 159 for the 3rd wicket, I suppose it must have been. New Zealand were 3 for 200 with 15 overs left, then scored 75 off the last 15-ish overs, so about 5 and over for the last 15. So India really reined it back in, but Daryl Mitchell's innings, 130 of 127, was outstanding, an outstanding innings.
Yes, he came in at 2 for shit as well.
2 for shit.
And not only that, the Indian quicks at the top had really hemmed the New Zealanders in on what appeared to be a really slow wicket. What I thought was interesting was that here in this, if we're looking at other teams trying to find some kind of blueprint to dismantle India, really the thing about the Indian team that seems to be over and above every other team is just how good they are in the middle overs.
Yep.
This is the first time I've actually seen batters probably outdo the bowlers through that period of time, led by Daryl Mitchell, also Rach and Ravindra, right hand, left hand. Their styles complemented each other. Ravindra knocks it around a little bit. He likes to go square, wristy, And
Yes, please.
And Daryl Mitchell just bombs blokes over the top.
Yeah.
Kuldeep and Jadeja, two guys that have just worked beautifully in tandem through this World Cup. But they targeted Kuldeep and they succeeded. He's going at 10s. Had to be taken off at one point. Then you have to bring a bloke back on. So
They didn't have a sixth bowler because of
because of the way they picked their side.
Yes.
So New Zealand, after a really slow start and a difficult start, engineered themselves into precisely the sort of position you'd want to with 15 overs to go, like 2 down, 200 plus on the board, and then India just came back into the game and did it from there.
Yeah.
You know, so I think New Zealand will be a little bit disappointed because you can't really ask for a better platform from which to launch than what they did there. But it also speaks to the quality. I mean, I think Daryl Mitchell was a fucking great player.
Yes.
3 format player.
Friend of the show.
Does the business in the IPL. That's right. He went to school with Stoinis, didn't he? Like, You know, does the business in the IPL. He had a great English summer a couple of years ago against them as well. Like, so he can do it with the red ball. He, as you say, he came in with a plan. Like, he had no compunction about continuing that slowness that he entered into. He just ticked it off, like ticked it along. Rachin Ravindra, it looks fucking great. He's class.
He does look good, doesn't it?
The flourish and the flow of that cover drive.
Yeah.
It's something.
Now, usually people say...
Now, his name, though, the thing... So, did you know...
Yeah.
I'm going to say it 4 times.
Oh, you already told me, Chin Chin.
No, well, everyone fucking tells me.
That's similar to the cartoon
you actually can't speak about this kid now without somebody telling you about the amalgamation of his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, let's move on from it.
I mean, that's how good India's going. Even the opposition players, it's like...
My friend Rachel and... So his name, so it's amalgam of Rahul.
It was like, it felt perfectly set up for Glenn Phillips to come in. Now, Glenn Phillips made about 23 or something of roundabout run a ball-ish. It felt set up for him. Kuldeep comes back and actually gets him in a pretty decent catch from Rohit. I just want to speak about the fielding. So at the end of the last game, so actually during the last game that India played against Bangladesh, so India have this fielding medal, right? You know about the fielding medal?
I do. I've seen the clips.
So, now there's a presentation, like it's an Olympic medal ceremony. But during the Bangladesh game, it actually was splashed up on the big screen as opposed to just privately in the dressing rooms afterwards.
Right. Which the ICC would do for other teams as well.
They do that for other teams as well. Yeah. Yes.
Who won their medals and their kind of their internal...
They actually had a song come out called Dill Dill Fielding Medal. But they only play that at certain grounds. Anyway, so now it just feels
we
like...
get called Dill Dill by a 60-year-old volunteer in Australia. It means something different.
It's actually a tribute to Dill Buckley.
Yeah.
G'day, Dill.
Dill, you're a fucking idiot. He's 75. He's been drinking since 10 a.m.
Anyway, it feels like all these Indian players now, they really want the medal, you know, because it was flashed up with a big screen against Bangladesh. Jadeja had that for a great catch that he took last game. So I'm not sure who got it in this game, but they fucking could not take onto it. They could not take a catch in this game, India. But, you know, didn't matter anyway. So anyways, let's get into the second thing. King Kohli, king of chasers. New Zealand started brilliantly with the ball, generally speaking. Henry had Gill playing and missing 3 times in a row. I think Bolts edged Rohit that fell just in front of slip. The 2 openers then got through that. They made 70, 71, something like that. But then Lockie Ferguson comes on and takes both openers' wickets in the space of his first 7 balls, I think it might have been. Shreyas gets out hooking, caught by Devon Conway in the boundary, and that made it 3 for 128. KL Rahul then kicked one off Mitchell Santner, which made it 4 for 182. 18 overs left, 90-ish to win. You think that's okay, but then Virat finishes 95 of 104.
Oh, I'd love to have seen another wicket just to get into the longer tail. But, that's how good they are.
And that's part of the superiority of Virat in these chases, where there is such high pressure. You got Mo Shami batting at 8. And you got Bumrah, Siraj, and Kuldeep at 11 to come. So it ain't much batting left.
No,
though I have seen Bumrah take Stuart Broad down for 72 off 1 over once, and that was in Test match cricket. So 95 of 104, clinical, chanceless, cover drives, hook shots, everything you've come to see with Virat innings. Gets caught on the boundary trying to win it to get his 49th ODI 100. Obviously, that would equal Sachin's record. Which is actually a tribute to Rachin Ravindra, Sachin Tendulkar's name. Not many people know that. Sachin's actually named after Rachin Ravindra.
Really?
Yeah, that's
okay.
right. That's right. Kohli,
It's an amalgam.
Kohli averages 118 in his
Keep doing it.
five games of the World Cup so far. But my favourite thing was that he absolutely burnt Sky, who almost ran 2 to cover. So, hell of a game.
Hey,
So
I like to see it.
So Virat's last 2 innings, he's just, the game's been won. He's like, can I get 100 to get the closest action?
I'm going to go hard on this. Like, if India's to win the World Cup, and they're going to have a couple of twists and turns along the way, it can't be a World Cup win without it with India. It's coming, right?
Yep.
It must be done with Virat fucking front and center.
Okay, yeah.
And
okay.
Virat's got to do Virat things. I have to say, I was a little disappointed earlier in the match. Rohit hurt his finger on the Dharamsala outfielder. I don't know what was doing there, but no, he rolled over the ball and he jarred his finger trying with a piece of fielding. I think Siraj was getting into a bit of a spat with Daryl Mitchell. He bowled like 14 wides in a row. Then Mitchell hit him, and Rohit had to do anyway. And Rohit went off the field, and of course Hardik missed the game. So Hardik would normally take over from Rohit, and you're like, who's? I'm like.
Has anyone got
Simon
any
Dill asked the question.
experience?
So Simon Dill asked the question, who's it, who's going to take over here?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, of course, KL Rahul takes over. And then I think Ian Smith or Simon Dill, one of them said like, KL Rahul's taking over for now. And he meant because Rohit's coming back.
Yeah,
Rohit's
that's what he
coming
meant.
back is what he meant.
That's what he meant.
I could hear Kohli through the stump. Like, and what I'm saying is I like it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like there's all of, he burns Sky, great.
Yeah.
He's allowed to do that. Like he's doing his thing,
Yeah.
Virat. A lot of people want to raise this issue about Virat cruising his way to a milestone at the expense of the speed of the team. I have zero interest in that critique.
Yeah.
The milestone stuff. Like they've earned that.
Yeah.
They've earned the right for Virat to do that. Virat hitting hundreds, and he missed out this time. That has value. That has what's the word? That has mojo value to the Indian side and the populace that supports it. It's a sign of their confidence that they're like we can nurse Virat to a ton here and also win the game. It's concerning for other teams that this is the biggest stick.
Yeah.
You can beat India with, well, he's not really playing for the team, trying to get 100 and still winning by 2 overs in the closest game. Not that, metaphorically stick.
Yeah, they won the World Cup undefeated,
not like
but
some
was
of
it
the
as a
security
team?
guards there. And the thing about Kohli is that he's nearly gone back-to-back tons chasing at night. And
Yeah.
I don't even, he's throbbing, but he's not even in beast mode yet. This isn't even beast mode Kohli. And it's back-to-back tons, just about. Round up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm all for it. I think if he needs to win the tournament, it's I want to see Virat front and centre for it.
I just really appreciated Glenn Phillips taking the catch at deep mid wicket. Kohli was on 95, whatever they needed to win. Tried to hit the 6 to win the game and then obviously get his 100. And then he miscues one, like a lofted drive, which sort of scrunts out to deep mid-wicket where Glenn Phillips is. He takes the catch a good 10, 15 metres in from the boundary. He takes the catch and sort of turns around and apologises to the crowd. It's like, sorry. I mean, that's fucking how good it's going here for India. And then to that end, I suppose, Pez, the third and final thing of today's show is only perfection beats India. Now, India weren't great in this game. They obviously had a change of lineup. They dropped a stack of catches. They found themselves in a position where New Zealand were 3 for 200. I suppose that to that end, that's New Zealand playing well, which they often do. They are playing against a team that has the wood over them in World Cups. New Zealand, a very good record against the host nation, India. And even then, they've won the game. They've chased 270. Where's my scorecard here? 275 or whatever it was. 274, 273. 6 down with a stack of balls left, 12 balls left, 4 wickets in hand. They would have got there sooner had it not been for them trying to get Virat into this 100 position. So they've won the game easily again. Haven't really been pushed. And at the moment, it's looking like, once again, everyone's playing for second.
Yeah. They're going to have the loss that they need to have. I mean, I think taking out of this game, Kuldeep was taken down. Couple of the guys, I mean, Shubman's only just come back into the side. I know he made a 50 before, but he's going to want to make his mark on the tournament soon enough. Shreyas Iyer is going to want to make his mark on the tournament soon enough. No one beneath number 7 has had a bat in the tournament.
Yep.
We don't know. I don't know how long Hardick's out for.
I don't know either.
They do have a question there around like whether they go with if you go with 5 bowlers and you expect them all to bowl 10 and you take somebody down, who you bringing on for the 6th? There are ways you can open up India, but it does feel to me like you probably have to get them to bat first because they just love chasing at night with the big crowd there and all that kind of stuff with a little bit of dew around. There's a bit of a blueprint there as to like how to manage Kuldeep and Jadeja. You got to try and take Kuldeep down. Jadeja, I don't know how. I don't think the bloke can be taken down.
Jadeja,
but he didn't take any wickets this time around, so kept him quiet.
Yeah, was it like one for?
Was it one? Was it?
No, sorry, none for 48.
Yeah, so they kept him quiet, I guess.
Yep.
And then, so if you can do them in the middle, it's a lot of, if you can do this, then you can do this. It's like trying to defeat the final boss.
Yeah.
You get through, like there's 6 sessions really in an ODI game. There's a start, middle and end, like a good book, 2 innings, and you got to try and figure out the place where you defeat them and then try and go with them for the other ones where they're strong.
Yeah.
And then just hope that they absolutely bottle it under pressure at some point.
It does feel like pressure is the biggest opposition at the moment for India. So they are now on 10 points. They're top of the table. Their last 4 games against England, Sri Lanka, South Africa and the Netherlands. They are almost definitely already qualified for the finals. They're having 5 wins. New Zealand is an interesting one where they obviously had a great win first up against England. Then they beat the Netherlands, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. So their last 4 games are Australia, South Africa, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Now, you can see a world where they lose the next 2 games against Australia and South Africa, and then they would still be on 8 points. Others would have caught up, and then you see maybe they need to win the last 2 games against Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Maybe not. There's just still so far to go. It's hard to really tell where New Zealand are at. I still feel like they've got some real quality. They've pushed India in this game, probably the first team to push them up until even Australia. I know it could have been 4 for 20 chasing 200 in that game against Australia, but it wasn't. So, they sort of cruised against them. So this was sort of the first team to push India. They've already had a big win against England. Obviously, no one knew England were dog shit at that point. Maybe England are dog shit. Maybe they're not. It's just so far to go, but it does look like there could be some work to do. You can see a world where New Zealand somehow fall over and get themselves in a position where they need to win the last couple of games.
Horse race. They're out the front of the horse race, but they might die.
Indeed. Hashtag AskTGC.
Take 'em out back.
This one's in the YouTube comments. Hey, drop your hashtag AskTGC into the comments below, and we'll read it out in the next show. We are reviewing tonight's game, which is Pakistan against Afghanistan in Chennai, Pezza. Something there for the spinners there of Afghanistan. Have a look at that.
Oh, really? They're playing...
Yeah.
Pakistan are playing against Afghanistan in Chennai.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that game. So get your hashtag AskTGC into the comments
could be a good game.
below. That could be a good game. Anyway, Varun, what's your name here? Varun Kasturi, 9888. Said, hashtag AskTGC, what do you guys make of the abject lack of close games of this tournament so far? The idea that it is a result of the format being uniformly ignored doesn't fully add up in my head. I think that's part of the reason, Varun, if I can jump in and answer the question that I just read out. I think what's happened is that like T20 cricket, generally speaking, has sort of killed the idea of a close game, because now a close game is it ends on the last ball. And in the history of ODI cricket, that's almost never happened. Like what kind of percentage are we talking about ODIs that have been played that finish in the last over or the last ball? There's probably about 1% of games. Now in T20 cricket, we get that all the time. So it's just changed our brain, changed our relationship to the close game. This in itself, with the team chasing with 2 overs left 10 years ago, would have been a close game. So I think there's that. I do think that no one's really had an experience of playing ODI cricket really in 4 years is a factor. But I think it's our relationship to the close game which has changed the most.
I agree. Like on the flip side, one of the issues with T20 cricket, because this is 4D chess, right, to kill the ODI game. India wins it, then you kill the format.
Yes.
It's been defeated. It's been completed. Can be completed. Like when you go overseas, and so where'd you go? It's like, I did New York.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I fucking did it. I completed the entire thing. I did New York.
Yeah.
But like. The flip side is that one of the issues with T20 cricket is that when a team posts a score, the other team just collapses early and it's over before it begins. Like you can't even get near it because of the distance and everything needing to go right. Whereas the upside of ODI cricket is that if things go wrong for you early, you can recover. You know what I mean? Like with India against Australia in that game.
Yep.
Usually in T20 cricket, you lose 3 wickets in the power play, you're pretty cooked.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But they had time to rebuild and all that kind of stuff. It's just that with this tournament so far, like none of that shit's happened. Like it does feel like you can figure out after 15 overs who's going to kind of get it done.
Yep. Well, hope that answers your question. Getting your questions below. If you're new to the channel, if you've enjoyed this video, drop it a like, click subscribe, and we'll be back tomorrow for, is it a banana skin, Pez?
for Afghanistan.
Because we've learnt last week that Afghanistan be actually going to favourites. Yeah.
Well, Afghanistan are a very good team. A lot of people.
Very good team.
It feels a long time ago on this channel that we were in trouble for suggesting that Afghanistan, who hadn't won since Scotland 2015, upset England, the defending champions.
That's right.
That was not even the fifth worst thing that happened.
So we've learned a lesson.
But we've actually learned from people who watch cricket that Afghanistan is one of the great teams. So it's a very worrying game for Afghanistan.
It is a worrying game.
Yeah.
Find out what happens right here on the channel tomorrow. See you then.